everyone, and welcome to another edition of the 15-ish minute coffee chat during the summer or the summer. I just realized I said that all wrong, but it's the summer edition of the 15-ish minute coffee chat. How about that?
Yeah. Hey, don't worry about it. That is my co-host and bestie, Anna Larson. This is how well our summer is going, guys. We just are like, we don't care. I don't care what the title is. I'm just going to say whatever. But Anna Larson is of No Mad About. She's fabulous. And again, I just want to make clear, she's my best friend. And I'm Selena Mackey of How Only Socially Inspired. And we are your hosts for today's conversation. And we're thrilled to have you here.
We are. And Selena, thank you for doing the introduction, some proper justice, because I totally flubbed that out. But that's okay, because today is all about just you and me bringing real conversation, our favorite tips and tricks and experiences from being an entrepreneur. And this would be one of those experiences happening.
Totally. I mean, okay, guys, we don't have guests. There's no pressure. It's just Anna and I being Anna and I.
Yeah. So if you have your cup of coffee with you, grab it, have a little sip. Cheers, cheers.
Cheers,
right?
friend.
Cheers, cheers. Sit back, kick back, relax, join the conversation, drop some comments into the comments, and let's have a real conversation about what, Selena? What are we talking about today?
Okay, the question we are asking each other is, what scared you about hiring your first contractor?
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun.
Right?
So everybody's like, okay, weirdos. I'm like, look, this is what happens when you have summer edition. There's no rules in summer edition.
The only rule we do have is if you look down right below me, that timer right there, giving us 8 minutes left. We are
fine.
A 10-minute time. But these are short little bites so that you can ingest and then move on with your day thinking about something awesome about being an entrepreneur.
No, totally. Anna, this is like our 5th episode of the summer edition, right? So go subscribe to our podcast, listen to the other 4 if this is the very first one that you're listening to, because there's some fun gold nuggets. Like, I think we're pretty funny. I'm going back to the first time Anna and I were sitting in her house, in her first house here in the Fort Cavazos area. And we were like, we're so funny. We think we should have a film crew follow us around. And we sat and we just filmed ourselves talking on the couch. Who knew that we would be like hosting several years later other businesses' lives, events, emceeing, and now here we are. So,
and it's not really about being funny. It's more just like, we hope you enjoy coming and have a conversation with us.
Right. Yeah.
So, okay. So we spent an entire minute on that. So we're going to get back to our question, which is, what scared you about hiring your first contractor?
Yeah.
Selena, do you want to go first?
Yeah, no, I will say, like, for me, I think the scariest thing was like, oh, wow, this is my baby that I've built. And, I like, even though I trusted this person, something that they did, because they didn't have an investment, obviously, in my business, like how I do, I was worried something they did would close my business. And I think that's what prevented me from giving her as much stuff as I should have to alleviate. And so I almost like had hired her to do nothing sometimes, like when I think about it, you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. So my first contractual hire was a family member, right? And for me, I think, I mean, if you're tongue in cheek, right? But I'm going to see this person at like family holidays and vacations and whatnot. So like, I have to be like a good boss first, but also like, like that familial relationship adds an extra little bit of thing to hiring someone. But the reason I hired family is because I thought I trust them more than a stranger. And ultimately, like, the scary part of hiring a stranger or an unknown contractor for me really was like, what if there's a breach in contract? What if there's a breach in proprietary information? What if something massive happens? And I don't mean for this to get into like contractual, into what's in your contracts kind of conversation. But that really was what it came down to for me, was that fear that they would do something, like you said, Selena, that was so devastating that my business I'd get sued or my business would be in trouble.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's got to be the ultimate right there, right? That is what's scary, is that they're going to damage you. And then if you do the hire, and I know that's got to prevent like a lot of people from even going that route. And I just want to bring this up because, you had mentioned you did you hired your family. For my team, they are all my family. My sister is part of my team and my cousin is part of my team. And I could not do this without them, but it was a small involvement. But I remember at a conference Anna and I went to, I mentioned that like as if it was almost an embarrassing thing to say, like, oh, my family is part of my team, so therefore maybe it's not really a team. But there was somebody there, I believe it was Monique James. I just want to shout her out because she's fabulous. She stood up and she goes, "That's amazing. The fact that you can afford to do that, it's amazing." And I was like, I don't know. She gave me some power back, right? So anyway, I just want to say, like, even if it is a family member, you are still hiring somebody. You are employing. You're giving somebody some financial freedom.
Yeah.
So don't think that's not a good thing, right? I mean, that's off topic a little bit, but I just wanted to, I always think about that now. And I just always feel like I need to spread that message too, where people feel like, oh, you have a sister on your payroll.
Well, it's important because sometimes when you're a solopreneur, right, and you hire contractors and not employees, then you feel like it's maybe not a real team, right?
Yeah.
And that's not the case, right? Even if you're a contractor, they are still part of your team. They might have very specific contractual duties,
right?
But they are still part of a team because without them, your business cog, the wheels don't turn, right?
Yep.
Something gets stuck, something doesn't work right. So
yeah.
I think for me, the other thing, Selena, is I have a great fear of having to spend the time to train someone. Right?
No, that's honest.
Is something that holds me back from saying, "Oh, let me outsource this."
Yeah. No, we've talked. You know what? We've talked about this. Anna and I have talked about this for a long time about that. Right? It's just like I don't have the time. And I remember somebody saying to me, "You're not hiring somebody to train them. You're hiring somebody that has the expertise that you need to make your business better. And don't think about it as like an employee." Because when you contract out, that person is supposed to have the expertise.
Yeah.
And I have to constantly remember that, right? And so, like, for example, I just recently hired a guy that is going to build out my new Notion project tool exactly the way that I want it. I can sort of do it, but he does it better. So I don't have to train him. I just have to tell him what I want. You know what I mean? And we contracted each other so he can help me build that. I just, when you say that, like, right, it's, make sure, I guess if you do hire somebody, make sure that they say they know how to do what they're going to do.
Yeah. So what's a good way to do that? Let's try out a little tip. Like, is it references? Is it, hey, I'll pay you to do this one short, small project? Is it a test? Like, what would you recommend, Selena?
I feel like, I think you ask around to your other entrepreneur friends, first of all. Go research around, because I think it can be different from everybody depending on like what you need them for, right? If it's to clean out your inbox, it's maybe here. If you I know people like laugh about using Upwork or Fiverr, but sometimes the smaller projects you can see their references and it'll say how many people have actually hired them, so you almost don't have to do the research because you're like, okay. And when you think about it, a lot of business owners just go there because that's all they know, where to find people to do whatever they need to do. But I feel like just ask them directly. Say, hey, I just want to have a discovery call if that's part of your package. And I want to know if you can do this. This is what I need. Can you do it? And hear them out. You know what I mean? And maybe say, if you can't perform what we're talking about today, how do we stop what we're doing? Because you're not fulfilling the contract.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think you have to, right? I mean, I know we got only 40 seconds. You have to know that sometimes it's not always going to be a good hire.
Ooh, that's a really good point. And at 40 seconds, Selena.
I know, Anna. Go take the last 37 seconds to respond to that and take us out. Take us out of our last episode for June, wherever we are.
I think what you said just kind of stands on its own. You do have to say to yourself, sometimes I'm going to make a mistake, and that's going to be okay. That is part of entrepreneurship. That's part of owning a business. You can come back from that. And so don't let that be the fear that makes you say, nope, I'm just going to keep everything and do it all myself. And it keeps the business from growing the way you need it to grow. So that's our last final thought in the 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 seconds, right?
Yeah, we did it. All right, guys. Happy summer. Aloha.